Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sive here with relatable content. Guys, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, you know what to do. You need to be subscribed, guys. Like, come on. Also, turn on your notifications, guys. Like, technology is so easy nowadays. Like, you know when I upload a video immediately. Like, come on, guys, be serious. But thank you so much to everybody that's already subscribed to my channel. Thank you for liking my videos and commenting. I really do appreciate it. We are really rounding up the Beating Depression series. This video is called Beating Depression. Who could have known? We are coming to the crust. Is it crust? The point. We're coming to the point of this whole series. Bloody English. But yeah, so guys, we're rounding up the Beating Depression series. We're going to be moving on to much more exciting content. I hope you guys are excited about that because I'm really psyched. So today we are going to be talking about beating depression. Literally. Okay, so guys, the previous video we spoke about triggers and enablers. I hope you guys already watched that. Like, please don't watch this video if you have not watched the previous video. Like, it's not gonna come together. I need you guys to, we on the same pace, you know what I mean? Understand each other, because I explained so much in the previous video. I spoke about living with depression. So please make sure you've watched the entire series before you get to the end. Like, that's like watching a movie and then just like showing up right at the end. You don't even know why it's starting, says, sebesibetha kangaka. Awumazi ukuthi amandla wathathephi okusukuma. Now he's winning the fight. Like, come on guys, be serious. Watch the other videos. Okay, so guys, also I think I should make it into like a playlist so you guys know exactly where to get Beating Depression series videos. I think that's a plan. Okay, so guys, today we are going to be talking about how to beat depression. Well, specifically how I got through mine. So guys, like I said in the very first video, this is not a handbook of how to beat depression. It is just a series about how I got to overcome my depression, which I'm hoping that it's going to be helping somebody else, okay? Because, I mean, certain things are not going to work for everyone, but I am hoping that at least it will get you a step closer to overcoming your own depression. And that is the whole point of the series, and I decided to start with this series because it was so important to me to make sure that you guys know just how much I love you guys and how much I want everybody to heal, Before we even start with the crazy content I'm going to be coming up with, I needed to make sure that I get the serious stuff out of the way, and then we can just, have fun, laughs, everything, you know what I mean? So last year, guys, as you recall, I did tell you guys that I moved back home in KZN. So the reason for that was because Cape Town was suffocating me. Quite literally, okay, not literally, but figuratively in a very weird literal way. But yeah, so Cape Town felt like it was the, how do I say this? It was the headquarters of my depression. So I felt like maybe if I moved away, I'd kind of leave it behind in a sense. But obviously that's not realistic. That's not what happened. But it did give me a bit of a breather. The change in scenery, the change in, environment and everything did help very much. That also is not me saying move away from wherever you're staying. But for me, there was nothing for me in Cape Town anymore. So I needed to be in a place where I feel like I can make a difference. I can do something with my life. I can move on in a sense, because Cape Town just felt like I was stagnant. And that's the worst thing for a depressed person, to feel like you're not moving, you're motionless, you're not getting anywhere. Like, you keep waking up and sleeping and waking up and sleeping, but it just feels like you're living the same day every day, but it's just a matter of how intense it gets on a different day. And that's what it felt like for me at some point. So when I moved back home, I stayed a bit, rented a flat and everything, but even that was just like, no, I just need to just not have anything I'm responsible for, because I'm responsible for rent. I need to pay up the rent at the end of the month, and all of that. So I was like, yeah, let's just go home. Let's just go home and figure everything out. So the first thing, I mean, you know what, when I actually started, everything that, that assisted towards me overcoming my depression, I did, in my head, it wasn't necessarily that I am trying to. Like, I kind of told myself that it would just kind of, I don't know, dissolve on its own somehow, but I mean, I don't know if that's even like an actual thing that happens, but it didn't happen with me. I worked to get where I am. So first things first, I spent a lot of time with myself. I had a lot of time to think. And probably if you are depressed, you might think that's probably the worst thing, because that's just your mind, creating every type of scenario to, hate itself and all of that. But I had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to restructure my thinking, to counter my thoughts in a sense, move away from always being negative. And I don't know, I had time to fight my own mind. So first things first, you need time, guys. You need time. And it doesn't mean that you have to now resign from your job if you're working, or quit school or whatever. But just make sure that you give yourself time. Give yourself time to be with yourself. And just kind of figure yourself out. So as I said, with the triggers and enablers, that time you spend with yourself and you try to figure out, what are your triggers? What are your enablers? And that's the first step. You need to identify those things, so then you know what you're fighting against. Because those are the things you need to tackle first before you even fight what your mind has in store for you. You know what I mean? So you have to find out what those are, and then after that, you need to feed your mind something that is positive. Feed your mind positivity as much as you can. And listen, for me, something I hated the most, maybe you might even relate, I hated motivational speeches. Low-key, kind of still do. And you know what? A lot of people love them. They work for some people. But like in general now, what I hate about motivational speeches is that you always feel so uplifted while listening to them, and just a few moments after listening to them, and then the emotion just kind of dies out and you just left with being you again. It's really like how I thought about starting this channel 2 years ago. And I remember the day when I thought about it, everything made so much sense. I was like, yes, this is it. Like, if I start this channel while still going, and I wanted to start it while still going through my depression, like high functioning depression, I'm telling you. And how ridiculous of me to think I could be able to pull that off. Like, in what world? Because what was I going to say? Just stare at the camera while my mind just kind of, thinks its own things. I don't know what I was thinking, but I mean, it's the thought that counts. So I thought about it, and you know, in that moment, it was one of those happy days. I mean, everybody has happy days when they have high functioning depression. You have really high days, and then the rest of the week is just, it's normal sad days. So it was one of those days, and I was thinking to myself, man, I could start this thing, and you know, a lot of people would relate because, you know, they'd witness someone that's still going through it, and maybe eventually when I overcome it, you know, people are there for the journey. I mean, that was a great plan, but honestly, realistically speaking, it wouldn't have happened. There was no way I would have been able to do any of that, and I see that now. And I think I saw that the fact that I took 2 years to actually start this channel. So, you know, it really, what happens is that at that point the feeling was there, and then once the feeling was gone, I just kept being like, oh, I still need to start my channel, and I just kept kind of, because the feeling was gone, you know. And that happens with a lot of us, you know. You get motivated to do something, and when the feeling is gone, it's just like, oh, okay. And so for me, I hated motivational talks. Honestly, they depressed me because they uplift you way too much, and once you hit, the emotion is gone, it's like you dip in as much as you jumped, you know. And besides that, just listening to someone being so positive was just like, ugh, what is this? So, I didn't listen to motivational talks. When I say you need to feed your mind with positive things, I read a lot of books. It was easier for me to read books because books aren't speaking in your ear, man. Like, it's not as urgent. Like, I mean, when someone is talking, it feels so urgent, you know what I mean? And that kind of, I don't know, it really, and patangakli, guys, like, it genuinely, it still doesn't. I don't know, like, I love motivational talks, but when my depression started, I just was like, yeah, check you later, my bra. So I read a lot of books. I will write the name of the books in the description down below. First book that I read was 13 Keys to Success, 13 Keys to Personal Achievement. I think something like that. But yes, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with that book. I mean, that book didn't really kind of, you know, it wasn't the book that kind of just woke me up to, hey, this is doing something to you. It's just I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even have mentioned it. But another book I read, There Are No Overachievers by Biro. That book, oh my goodness. Guys, what do you even mean? That book is amazing. Listen. It taught me so much, guys. How to alter your thinking. If you're thinking negative things, change that thought and make it into a positive one. And I know it sounds a bit far-fetched right now, you listening to me, but really try to get that book and see what it does for you. I also reread The Alchemist. For me, like, now one would ask, why would you read The Alchemist? For me, it was just like, because I'd already read the book before. I read it in like 2017. And at that point when I read it, like, I don't know, it was still, my depression was still just kind of, you know, in the lows. But when I read it at that point, it just was a great book. And then I reread it, and it just meant something so different for me. Just kind of like, you know, if I really want to, I will. That's literally what it taught me. It might take, I might have a lot of detours, you know, mental detours even, because at that point everything that was trying to read was so that it has an impact on my mind before it has an impact on my dreams, you know. So it was a matter of, even if I have mental detours, but I will get to the point where I feel like, you know what, I beat this thing. And then I read The Fifth Mountain, same author, and my goodness, great stuff. But I'll list the other books, like, I mean, man, I feel like we could even talk about these books. But I'll list the rest of the books that I read. Reading books really did help, guys. Like, it honestly helped with me restructuring my thinking. And it helped me to just kind of also not have time to self-loathe, if you know what I mean. Because especially for the fact that I resigned at work and I was now staying at home. That kind of, in as much as, you know, I was trying to get somewhere with that also became like a thing. Like, whoa, what did I just do, you know? So it gave my mind time to be busy. You know, I was constantly reading all the time, and I didn't only read, like, you know, those book types. Like, I read like novels and stuff, just to have my mind busy, not have it, you know, constantly fighting me all the time. Because an idle mind, guys, honestly, like, it's a real thing. You have a lot of time to hate yourself and to say the worst things to yourself and to believe them, mostly. Also, another thing that helped was that this is gonna sound really ridiculous. I counted my happy days. It motivated me that I was having more happier days than I was having sad days, because I remember I used to just have that random one happy day, especially 2018. It'd be one happy day which would result in heavy sadness after everything is said and done. Because, like I said, which video did I talk about this? Living with depression, was that, like, being happy, you know, ended up with me being sad afterwards, because I was asking too much of myself. I was asking myself to I was asking myself to give out something that I didn't fully have within me, you know. My internal system didn't have enough happiness to produce, to give out, that when I did give it out, I was empty. And emptiness means dipping, you know. So I counted my happy days. I started counting my happy days, and I started realizing that, no man, I'm having like 2 days in a week of being like genuinely like, yeah, no, I'm not sad. And when I say happy, guys, I don't mean I'm over the moon. I mean I'm just not sad, you know. And trust me, that's a relief, because sadness is very constant. It is one of those variables that just don't change, you know. When you high functioning depressed person, high functioning depressed person, it's so constant. It's like, it becomes like your friend in a very twisted way, because you know it's sure to come. So eventually, you know, they started being more and more per week. And for me, that kind of gave me hope that, no man, something is changing. Another thing that I did was I wrote down my happy thoughts. So on a good day, I just write stuff down so that I have something to read on my sad day. Like, if I feel like I'm like really like just heavily I'm really dipping, then I would just take out my diary and read a letter to myself from myself, you know, because I would always make sure that I'm going to write something for myself that's going to make me believe that this is not going to last forever, you know. And it helped me so much because I got to see that there's a me inside of me that's capable of being happy. There's a me inside of me that, you know, that's able to make me look forward to another day. And that's the most important thing, you know? Like, being able to look forward to tomorrow, even if today doesn't look as great, but it gives you hope, man, to know that there's somebody inside of me that wants better for me, you know? So I wrote stuff down. Another thing is that I said things out loud. That's sounds a bit crazy, but if ever I felt like I mean, listen, okay, this is a bit of a tricky situation because some of you might say, if you say something out loud, you're vindicating it. But you say something out loud and you listen to yourself saying it and you see just how crazy you are. I don't not crazy, but you know what I mean. Like how crazy the thought is in itself. Think about it like this. Have you ever been dribbled by someone? Like heavily dribbled. And you don't say this out loud. And then you start telling someone, you start telling someone of all the events that happened. And you start being shocked yourself, like, whoa, that really happened. Like, whoa. What is this? So, you know, it kind of, talking makes you actually listen to yourself and hear yourself and gives you an understanding of what you're saying. And that also then creates a thing of, no, what am I saying? You know what I mean? And that's what happened with me. So, like, I remember, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. Like, genuinely, like, indeed done. I don't want to live anymore. And I just said it out loud, like, I want to die. I want to kill myself. And then I'm just like, yeah, no, actually, I don't. And honestly, I don't want to lie to you. You can't really rely on that to work every time. But once you have mastered the art of countering your thoughts, you speaking things like that and listening to them, it then gives you an idea of no, wait a minute, hold up, you know. Guys, I really wish we could get in depth with all of these, but you know what I'm gonna do. Technically this series hasn't come to an end, right? But it's come to an end in the sense that I'm like constantly uploading videos for it specifically. So I'll keep adding some videos for you guys because this particular thing is so close to my heart because guys, I really did go through the most, and I almost jumped off a cliff. I almost. So I really, I mean, there's nothing that makes me sad than hearing of someone that took their own life. When there are people like me that were able to, you know, overcome something so scary. So it tells me that you too can also overcome it, you know. That you too can find a way around it. And I just need to make sure that you guys know that there is hope. That eventually you can beat it. You really honestly can. And I believe that from the bottom of my heart. That every single person that is depressed, that's going through anxiety, that's going through something, that really you can look forward to tomorrow. You can make it through the day. Really need to make sure that everyone around you, okay, not everybody, but you know, people close to you know what's going on. They might not understand, but it gives you leeway to not have to pretend all the time, because that's really the worst. If you have to try fight your depression and you constantly have to try and make everybody happy, and act a certain way because now you don't want to seem like snacks, you know. If you're not happy, you're not happy, and you need to not have to act like you are. So yeah, guys, please make sure that you, I don't know, find something that works for you. If it's like watching talks, go crazy. If it's reading, do that. I really do advise it though, because it makes your mind think about what you're reading, man, you know? And reading is just, it's a quiet time. It's beautiful. So if you don't like reading, try it step by step, you know? I will, like I said, write down all the books that I recommend that you guys read, especially books that will help bring like a positive light into your darkness. I will make sure to write those books down. And also right now I just feel like I can't remember every single one. So yeah, so that's gonna give me enough time to just think through about all the books that I read. Also guys, so another thing that I wanted to point out, you know, the thing of trying to be of having to act like you're happy, you know, pleasing everybody around you. Another thing that made my overcoming depression easier was the fact that I didn't have to I didn't have to, you know, look after anyone. All I had to do was look after myself. And if you are going to get to a point of overcoming your depression, you will need a bit of selfishness. You'll need to put yourself first as much as you can. And this is a bit something I did. I mean, listen, I'm not recommending it, but I do think it helps in a sense. I remember also that talking to people, I do have a couple of friends that are going through depression. So talking to some of them, even if it's not even a depressed person, it literally could just be someone telling you about stress, you know what I mean? I avoided that a lot. Like, like I can maybe see like from your WhatsApp stories that, nah man, yeah, go out, babes. I will, yay, zawubaleka uphambane. Because I realized with the triggers, I realized that if I spoke to someone that is going through it, it triggered my own goal, you know? So I tried to avoid people abagoayo, you know what I mean? And it sounds very selfish, but it's taking care of yourself. You want to be there for people you love, but also don't be there for someone if giving someone a hug is going to cut you. You know? That makes no sense. I can't help you heal if helping you heal is gonna hurt me. because now sizosebenza into eyi-one. Like kuzawuthini because now right ke ngokwena but ke ngokusekuqaleni mna. Do you see what I mean? So it sounds a bit selfish, but avoid it if you feel that people's goals end up being a trigger for you. And if you feel that it might cause distance between you and people you love, let them know. It's so much easier to tell someone that, okay, listen, I know you're going through a lot. I'm sorry I can't be there for you. Listening to someone that's going through something triggers what I'm going through. And I don't want to have to, set my own fire. You know what I mean? And it's so much easier, guys, to talk to people and let them know what's going on than rather ghosting them. And that's not okay. Like, if someone, like, here's the thing. This is how I avoided Abandabakowayo. If I see that, because usually if I'm watching someone's story on WhatsApp and I say, no, yeah, go, babes, and I feel like I could help because they're my friend, I will ask you, what's wrong? You let me know, we'll talk it through it, and then yeah. But I made sure that I didn't ask. I don't ask questions. But I mean, love and light to you, but I can't put myself through, a fire that's going to be triggered by your fire. You know what I mean? So guys, do avoid those as well. That's why I said that it's so important for you guys to find your triggers, identify your triggers, identify things that trigger you so you know what to avoid. Identify things that enable your depression. And should it be your own mind, guys, that is the heavy trigger, that's why then we revert to books. We revert to writing down thoughts on happy days to assist you on your sad days. That's so important, and also it's a great thing to see that you've come a long way, that sad day is like 1 in 5. You know what I mean? So guys, I do hope that this helped. And most importantly, I hope you guys heal. I hope people around you heal. And I hope everybody can overcome this. Because this is like one of those things that people go through. One day someone is okay, the next day they're gone. And it's really the worst because we get left with questions about how, what happened, why? Because we've made it such a thing to not speak out, to not say that, hey, I'm going through something. And most of the time it's mostly because we don't understand what's going on. You just kind of find yourself in a situation of not being able to relate to your own self, just kind of, losing contact with who you were as a person. But let's stop the silence. Let's speak out. Let someone know that hey, I'm going through something, and have someone that that can be accountable for you. Someone that will make sure that, hey, are you okay? And it really can be annoying a little bit, but it really goes a long way. Because at your darkest time, that's going to be that one person that you're going to think of, to be like, hey, I don't know now, like things are getting really hectic. There has to be at least one person that you can trust to share your thoughts with. Someone that's going to be willing to listen to you. And honestly, that's why I had the series, so that even with people that aren't depressed, know what's going on. know what goes on in a depressed mind, so that should someone ever approach you and say, hey, I'm not okay, at least you have a bit of an idea of what's to come, you know. You have an idea of what to say and what not to say. Because I mean, obviously I didn't tell you guys what you should say, what you shouldn't say to a depressed person. But I mean, the fact that you were able to listen and you went through the whole series, then it teaches you something, and now you have an idea of what the person is going through, you know. And that makes you an easier person to approach, an easier person to talk to. But guys, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for going through the series with me. And everybody that was with me from the very first video, thank you so much. If this is your first time on my channel, please do make sure to just go check out the other videos, so you can just put everything together. I love you guys so much. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share this with your friends. I'd really appreciate it, and I hope to see you on my next video. Love you guys so much.